gentlemen, our ship's sponsor, Mrs. Annette Conway, escorted today by Command Master Chief Pedro Santos, United States Navy.
As you walked in today and you were looking at our beautiful Anchorage, I hope that you also noticed our handsome and fierce Marines and sailors in the back who have stood there for several hours. Remember that they are willing to live very uncomfortable lives to do anything they can to keep all of us safe. So we're really proud of them. I had absolutely no idea that being given the privilege of being a ship sponsor would soon entail that I would go to New Orleans and I would get to meet and come to really enjoy the dedicated and talented shipbuilders. I didn't know that I would also then be given the camaraderie of a group of women who had also, through the years, been given the honor of being ship sponsors. More exciting, though, was the awe I felt at the warm acceptance of the crew of Anchorage. And now to be here in Anchorage, Alaska, to see the open-armed welcome of the people of Anchorage is it's the highlight of a long military life. Officers and crew of USS Anchorage, man our ship, bring her to life, and embark the main battery.
You know, a lot has been said about Ellen. She happens to be a friend of Darlene and I have to tell you that there is no better person to be a ship sponsor. She's a person of genuinity. She's a person who cares. She's gracious and graceful. And you know, it doesn't hurt to have a four-star admiral, former chief of naval operations, as her executive assistant. And you know, Gary, we had a few minutes beforehand. Ellen says that your internship is going okay. But those of us who are nuclear trained would say, as we would say, a few deficiencies were noted.
What a great Navy day. What a great day for Minnesota in all respects. It's an honor to share the stage with so many distinguished guests. Welcome to all from Minnesota, all from the Navy, and to the family and the friends of the USS Minnesota. Thanks to the men and women who built Minnesota, they have provided a fierce boat worthy of the sea and deadly to her enemies. Thanks to the families of Minnesota, they are always stalwart, they are always optimistic, they are always there. They are the true home port for Minnesota's crew. Today is really only about the men who will go to sea, who will work, and who will live on board Minnesota. I will speak directly to them. You have trained, you have been tested, and you have met every challenge with exceptional ease and grace. You are ready to go. There's not a more competent nor more committed group anywhere. I wish you fair winds and following seas. Thank you for letting me be part of this great Navy Day. Go Navy, go Minnesota. Officers and crew of the USS Minnesota, man our ship and bring her to life.
President, General Dynamics Electric Boat, escorting Mrs. Katie Fowler, sponsor of the submarine North Dakota, Kevin J. Poitras.
To the men and women of General Dynamics Electric Boat, Huntington Ingalls Industries, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, and the Navy Program Executive Office, I congratulate you on another world-class submarine. It is appropriate that we remember and say thanks to the thousands of men and women in uniform who are overseas and at sea today, sacrificing so much to keep this great nation free.
I would like to thank the good Lord above for this special blessing and honor. Wow, I am so grateful to be standing here now on this awesome warship. As a submarine spouse and native of Virginia who has been connected to North Dakota for more than 30 years, I am especially honored to have the privilege of christening the Virginia-class North Dakota. I am very pleased and humbled by the presence of so many family members and friends. You all make this day extra special, and I appreciate your efforts to get here today. I also want to thank my husband and first mate for all of his help and support. For all of those who have had a part in building the North Dakota, I salute you for your skill and dedication. I have been fortunate to witness the construction progress as pieces became sections that were assembled into a complete hull, which met the sea for the first time as a waterborne submarine. As I officially christen this warship, North Dakota, I encourage her crew and those who will man her for 33 years to represent the Rough Rider state across the globe as enthusiastic ambassadors of the great state of North Dakota. When I first met my husband, I observed his first boat just being commissioned. After 32 years, that boat is still deploying to the tip of the spear, taking the fight to the enemy. I look forward to watching as North Dakota takes her spot as a workhorse for the fleet, and I hope I am fortunate enough to greet her back from her last deployment. I, along with my husband and all North Dakotans, wish her Godspeed as her historic legacy begins. Thank you. In the name of the United States, I christen thee North Dakota. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
And now, please welcome our ship sponsor, Susan Ford Bales, accompanied by Newport News Shipbuilding President, Matt Mulheron.
Now, the Ford, for sure, will carry on this proud and very powerful legacy. She will carry unmanned aircraft, joint strike fighters, and she will deploy lasers. Yep, she'll deploy lasers. This platform will adapt to the security needs, whatever they may be, throughout her life, and she will operate at the tip of the spear because, like the rest of your Navy, she will operate forward and be where it matters, and she will be ready when it matters.
But this ship will have a secret weapon. Her name is Susan. Each ship is said to carry with it the spirit of its sponsor, and we are extremely fortunate to have Susan Ford Bales as ours. So in addition to being our sponsor, Susan has been a friend. She has embraced our shipbuilders since laying the keel in 2009, and she has been back many times since then. She takes her role as a ship sponsor and of representing her dad very seriously. She's truly hands-on in all aspects of this project, and we are so happy she is part of our team. We are honored to call her our sponsor, our fellow shipbuilder, and our friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Susan Ford Bales.
Today, we remember and honor a lifetime of integrity. An Eagle Scout, an All-American football player, a distinguished graduate of the University of Michigan and Yale Law School, a Navy lieutenant commander, congressman, vice president, and president. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can describe how proud I am to be your fellow shipbuilder. Ladies and gentlemen, as a ship sponsor and on behalf of Gerald R. Ford, I hereby declare that the name is the USS Gerald R. Ford, and it and shall be permanently united with the shipbuilders of Newport News Shipbuilding. Thank you, fellow shipbuilders. And as demonstrated by Captain Meyer and by the crew, and by this mighty carrier, the American people are forever grateful to you. And Dad, I'll always be proud. I christen the United States ship Gerald R. Ford. May God bless the ship and all who sail her.
Today, we dedicate a great ship, the USS Milwaukee. It will serve as a vital part of our naval fleet. But the real strength of America rests with those military personnel who will serve on this ship. For the United States of America, I christen thee Milwaukee. May God bless this ship and all who sail in it.
Sylvia Panetta is the wife of former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta, and she is the ship's sponsor.
The word responsible resonates. It's very important. It is, to be the sponsor means that I have a somewhat spiritual oversight.
The newest member of the Navy's fleet is now official. Officials christened the USNS Fall River this morning at Austell. The ship's name comes from the southern Massachusetts city, Fall River. And fittingly, Massachusetts First Lady Diane Patrick conducted the official christening.
It can move people, a lot of equipped soldiers, Marines. It can move a huge amount of cargo very fast across big distances.
Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus was in attendance, as you saw there, along with several other dignitaries.
The Navy's newest ship is ready for duty tonight. Large crowds gathered at the NASSCO shipyard for the christening of the USNS John Glenn, named after the famed astronaut. 10 News reporter Candace Crone attended the ceremony. At New at 6, she explains what makes the John Glenn different from any other Navy ships.
John Glenn walked past a camera-carrying crowd at NASSCO for yet another big moment in his 92 years of living. On Saturday, Navy officials christened their newest ship, the USNS John Glenn.
A bold and fearless leader, really an icon for all of us baby boomers. When Marines hear the name John Glenn, they think of exploring new horizons, stretching the envelope, reaching for the stars.
As a former Marine Corps pilot, Glenn flew in World War II and the Korean War, was a 4-time U.S. Senator, and perhaps most notable, he was the first American to orbit the Earth.
We're very proud to have my name on this ship, but in memory of all those who I served with that I remember every day.
The vessel has a deck the size of 1.5 football fields and can go underwater to quickly transport cargo and other supplies to shore. The size and volume of the 786-foot ship aren't the only things that make it different from the Navy's other vessels.
The ability to take a design that was already done, an Alaskan tanker for BP, and take the tanks out and just merely put a ballast system with a flat deck, same propulsion system, same electrical and all.
To make the name official, Glenn's daughter christened the ship by breaking the traditional bottle of champagne against the hull. Glenn says the ship is especially crucial this day and age as threats to our national security shift.
Security threat to the country has changed dramatically, and this ship really is an innovative first step in responding to that.
Some 500 people showed up to get a first glimpse of the ship. The USNS John Glenn will also be used during times of disaster relief.
With the breaking of a champagne bottle, the USS Jackson becomes official. The littoral combat ship is all aluminum, 419 feet long, and can reach speeds of 40+ knots.
Secretary Mabus said littoral combat ships like the Jackson will play a critical role in America's defense strategy as the U.S. focuses on the Asia-Pacific region.
I christened you Neil Armstrong. May God bless this ship and all who sail.
Why is this research vessel so important to our Navy? I think people maybe misunderstand the vastness of our oceans and the amount that we still have to learn about our oceans. And that is truly why these vessels are so important.
I hereby place United States ship Coronado in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her.
Now it's my pleasure and duty to ask this ship, the officers and crew of USS Coronado. Pay attention now. I want you to man this ship and bring her to life.
Bath Iron Works has once again permanently welded its part in military history. Today, the Navy christened a first-of-its-kind destroyer named after former Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Elmo Bud Zumwalt, Jr., a man who President Clinton called the conscience of the Navy at his funeral. This ship will now begin its service to America. Two of Admiral Zumwalt's children broke the bottle against the bow to begin the career of their father's legacy, the USS Zumwalt, now the Navy's largest destroyer.
I know my father would be deeply moved by the majesty of the vessel that we see before us. He would be humbled that it bears his name.
Bath Iron Works crews began work on the ship back in 2009. It will now be floated down the Kennebec River.
She is a statement of confidence. Confidence in her builders, in every weld, every wire, every line of her bow. And confidence as well in those who will take her from us on their way to the deep waters of a dangerous world.
Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus says it couldn't hold a more sacred namesake.
Elmo Zumwalt was a leader. He was a trailblazer, and he was a pioneer for things like justice.
Zumwalt became the youngest chief of naval operations and is considered a pioneer in helping women and minorities advance their military careers. Secretary Mabus says Zumwalt knew the importance of people, not just technology.
And that's what he devoted his career to, and that's why it's so fitting that, that this ship is named for that, for him.
The $7 billion ship is the first of 3 in its class to be built.
This ship will allow us to do what the Navy uniquely does, and that is provide presence around the world. Not being in the right place just at the right time, but in the right place all the time.
The ship's motto is Peace Through Power, which was the same motto for the USS Dewey, a Bath-built ship that Admiral Zumwalt commanded earlier on in his career.